What's up, everybody? Derek Anderson, the DA, back from Chicago, man. Had a great time on vacation checking out the Bears game. But now I got a question for you guys. In regards to this situation that just doesn't seem to want to go away. These people can't shut up for 5 seconds and just let this stuff die all the way down and then try to regroup and figure out what they can do for season 2 or if there's going to be a season 2. Nope, these cats are just going to keep doubling down on their nonsense and their rhetoric. It isn't going to stop. Why? Because they think it's going to work, okay? I mean, have you ever told a lie that was so stupid and obvious that everybody doesn't believe it, but you keep doubling and tripling and quadrupling down? Probably not, okay? You know when to pull the plug, call it quits. All right, man, that lie didn't work. But these cats over here, nah. Here we go. Bounding in the comics, Lord of the Rings of Power actors continue to attack Tolkien fans as racist. Okay, so again, instead of just saying, you know what? Hey, we made a bad show, okay? Show wasn't beloved. The show wasn't liked. We went in there, we tinkered with Tolkien to the point that a damn Tolkien scholar said, deuces, I'm out of here. I'm not messing with this stuff. We did that, but nevertheless, we're going to continue to double down and triple down on the nonsense. Let's go ahead and read. So it starts off, multiple Lord of the Rings of Power actors continue to attack fans of creator J.R.R. Tolkien and his works as racist, as their show was exposed to audiences as being a black hole of creativity. Utter black hole, completely devoid of any talent whatsoever. Just a bunch of has-been wannabes, trying to be's. The two showrunners we've already seen that these guys are just con men from the get-go. They had no idea what they were doing, how they got this job. I still don't know. J.J. Abrams, man, that guy must be a miracle worker to be able to pull $1 billion out of Amazon's back pocket for this trash. But that's what he did. And we got to keep talking about this racism stuff because that's the only angle they have left. They have no other angle to play. It's really, really kind of sad when you sit back and think about it. I'm starting to call this dude like the head joker of this whole house of cards. Ismael Cruz Cordova, he played Aaron Deere. Then you have Sophia Novente, who played Princess Disa. And then Cynthia Adai Robinson, who played Queen Regent Muriel. They're back on Variety, running their lips once again. So here's what Cruz said, talking about the supposed racist backlash to the casting. He says, the fact that the attention was shifted towards that shows you what the power of a show like this is. The fact that it hit a nerve and that our being in it created such a response just brings attention to the greatness of fantasy, the greatness of Lord of the Rings, and why it's actually good that we are here. Now, he's correct to that point, that the Lord of the Rings is such a great and wonderful franchise that you guys doing some pigeonhole crap like this, okay, that's going to bring a big rise of attention and outrage, okay? That's what it brought. It brought the response he's talking about is not a positive response, right? It's a negative response because these guys just said, hey, we're going to go in here and do this tokenization nonsense, and we're not going to be worried so much about Tolkien and staying true to that. We're going to do what they call the redress of balance in this world and talking about the modern audience and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it created a very huge response, Ismail. Okay, and it wasn't good. It's not the one that you want to create. And then he goes on here. Did it become a bit too much? Absolutely. It's taken airtime from the depth of who we are as artists. Time out real quick. You are under no obligation whatsoever from Variety, Deadline, or any of these other rags to come out here and talk about racism. You could have easily just steered the conversation right back to the show. All right? Remember, I did this video just a little bit ago about Todd Bowles, right? Todd Bowles got out there and I'll link it above so you guys can check it out. But Todd Bowles came out and said, wait a minute, time out. I'm not here to talk about race, right? When they were asking him, well, what do you think about this black coach? And don't you understand how important it is? Like this white lady in this crowd was trying to tell this black man what it means to be black almost. And he was like, look. I'm not here to talk about that, all right? And if you guys would stop talking about it, then it would go away. Now, back to football. That's what he did. And he could have did the same thing. He could have said, hey, I'm not here to talk about your little racist stuff that you guys want to promote. I'm here to talk about the show that we have in front of us, okay? Any questions about the show? All of that nonsense goes away. And you guys actually, even though the show still would have been trash, you guys still would have been like, okay, well, at least they didn't try to drag in a whole bunch of nonsense and try to gaslight us to thinking that all of these people are racist. No, they just talking about the show, and that's all we're talking about. But it just shows where we are in the world and how much work we still have to do. I'm very grateful that it's us who are able to recalibrate, break form, and reshape and make history. What history did you make? Well, you made one of the most historically bad shows in the history of television. Is that the history that you're talking about? Unbelievable, man. These guys, like, they literally are smelling their own shit. They don't understand. Maybe they do, but they're doing their damnedest to try to just gaslight the entire world about how bad this show really was and to keep pushing race in front of the thing. Unbelievable, man. These people should be ashamed of themselves. Adai Robinson then shared her thoughts. In order to not have such an impact, the pendulum has to swing. We are right in the middle of that process. We just want to normalize. We do have to discuss it because we are now in a space in society where need to now and again acknowledge exactly what is happening. One of the problems that I have with these statements is that this is what's going on in their world, okay? In Hollywood, okay? Hollywood is the place where you guys are doing all of this racial casting and everything, and you think that you got to redress balances and do all of that stuff. That's in your world, okay? The rest of the world we live, we're just normal people, okay? But woke Hollywood has got it in their head that they are speaking for the larger society, and you're not. I just went on a train trip, man. I was hanging out with people of all different races, creeds, and colors, and we all had a great time, all right? Are there little small pockets of people out there in the world that are just assholes? Absolutely. You're never going to get rid of that, all right? But you're not going to reshape society in the Lord of the Rings show. I mean, the idea that they can somehow, like, change the world by just making a simple show is just kind of laughable when you think about it. Just go out and make something that's entertaining. Nobody's coming back to watch season 2. You bored us to sleep. You bored one of the analysts to sleep. So the fact that you're sitting up here trying, oh, well, you know, we're right in the middle of shaping everything and changing it all. No, you're not. No, you're not. Okay. You guys are so, like I said, they smelling their own shit, and it's just funny to read. That level of distraction or aggression that was put towards us, it's been a painful journey to get there, but it has elevated us. It has put us in a position where there will be a plaque one day. These guys really think they something special, man. This is going nowhere, okay? The rumors have been running rampant that this thing is going to get canceled, pull the plug. They may just say, hey, fire everybody. Get all of these fools out of here. When the pendulum has swung to where it needs to be, we will have badges upon the people who fought the great fight. These guys, I swear to God, man, this stuff is so funny. These dudes really, really think that they are doing some kind of historic, like it's the civil rights movement or something like that. Nobody's going to remember you people. Nobody will remember you. Hey, do you remember, like, back in the day, like, I forgot when, there was like some stupid Lord of the Rings show, and I mean, it was just absolute dog water. Do y'all remember that show? It kind of, sort of, it's ringing a bell, but not really. These people ain't gonna be remembered for nothing but being in a shitty ass show. That's all. Who fought the great fight to get to a point where there isn't such an eruption based solely on that when a casting announcement comes. Yeah, the problem is the casting announcement comes and it's like, hey, this ain't nothing what Tolkien would have put out there, okay? When the point comes where you guys are actually sticking to the script and doing the original source material justice, when you're doing that, okay, now we're talking about an entirely different world, okay? Then people will be happy. People will be like, hey, they announced the cast and it's great. Or better yet, maybe you're going to actually start to listen to some of the people that have been speaking to say, create original characters for, you want to create a black fantasy show or whatever, make it original, okay? Go out there and support artists and authors that are actually writing original material. Maybe you should do that, okay? And then you can drop all kinds of people in this and that, and you could do the original source material justice. But to just sit up here and, this is just foolishness. Sophia Novente then stated, to answer your question, we still get a ton of controversy, but there has been a shift. You know where that's been. It feels like it's been a sit down. She elaborated. It feels like we've had to prove ourselves almost. We had to defend ourselves, but it's undeniable that these people are in the position that they are in, deserve to be there, and should be here. There is nobody else that could have played the role. I mean, there's a lot of people that could have played these roles. I'm sorry to say there's a lot of other people that could have played these roles. The reality is that the show, okay, the show is the problem, because even with the racial casting that we saw from House of the Dragon, it didn't get anywhere near the backlash, okay, because it's a good show. This has absolutely nothing to do with race. All right. If you guys put on a good show and you guys put out a good product, nobody would care about your race. Nobody would talk about this. They're not talking about it with House of the Dragon. You don't see House of the Dragon coming back weeks later with another article about race. You don't see that nonsense. People are looking forward to season 2. And everybody's looking forward to the Rings of Power getting absolutely canceled, or getting the new showrunners that are going to come in and just kind of retcon everything that happened in season 1. That's what they're looking forward to. First off, if there was any racist backlash, Variety did not provide any evidence of it, and neither have these actors. Their official Rings of Power Twitter account posted that message. We remember that nonsense that they put out there way back when. They continued that J.R.R. Tolkien created a world which by definition is multicultural, you know, and the thing that they don't understand is the diversity in the culture that they're talking about. They didn't try to touch on it at all, okay? They're not talking about the diversity of cultures. They're talking about diversity of skin color. That's what this stuff has always been. What was occurring is that people were criticizing the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power, race swapping, and the complete abandonment of Tolkien's work to push evil intersectional woke politics. This is the problem here, is that you didn't make a show that was set to entertain fans, okay? You did a whole lot of work in order to push what you felt is the proper agenda that people need to adhere to, okay? But like I just said before, you guys aren't proving anything. Criticizing a show for race swapping characters is not racism, no matter how much Prime Video and these actors want it to be. And the reality is that race swapping characters is closer to racism than people criticizing the race swaps. All right. Like if you're race swapping people just purely for the, hey, I'm just trying to put another race in this particular thing, you're the racist. You're the one that's focusing on race. All right. That's the thing about racism. Racism is people who focus on the race of the person. All right. And that's what you're doing when you intentionally race swap. You are focusing on the race. You are the racist. I don't think these guys recognize that. I don't think they even care, because in their broken brains, they're the good guys. All right. But the reality is that you guys are really the ones that are setting divisions and promoting racism. That's what you're doing. OK. And the fans are just calling it out. OK. I'm basically saying, hey, you guys are the ones that are focusing on skin color, something stupid as skin color, something that is unimportant as skin color. You're focusing on that. You're not focusing on culture or anything like that. All right. That would be one thing if you were diversifying through culture, okay? But when you got Lord of the Rings, all right, and you have a black dwarf or a Latino elf or whatever, okay, what does that got to do with the Latino culture? What does that got to do with the black culture? Nothing. You're talking about the culture of Middle Earth. So skin color is absolutely irrelevant in this situation, and you guys are still pushing it. So to me, you're the racist, all right? Anyway, folks, what do you think about these guys? Once again, they just can't let this crap go. They just can't move on with their lives. They know they made a trash show, and now they got to keep doubling down on the argument that you guys are all racist because you criticized our show. Go ahead, get down in the comments, leave me your thoughts and your opinions on that. Thanks for watching. See you next time.